Colnago V4RS in a size 48.5, weighing at 7.01 kilos. And in pounds, 15 pounds, 9 ounces. Stay tuned to after video where free buy sent us on those Fulcrum wheels right there. Hey everyone, GC Performance here, back with another video, and today I have for you guys a brand new 2023 Colnago V4RS. This is Colnago's newest and latest race bike out. This is the generation right after V4RS. So in today's video, we're going to talk about all the differences on here. Like I mentioned before, this is a size 48.5, weighing right around 7 kilos. And this is what the pro riders of Team UAE are going to be riding for the new frames. This spec right here is spec'd out with SRAM red and Fulcrum carbon race wheels. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about what this bike is all about, what they changed from the V3RS to the V4RS, and talk about some of the noticeable differences and then some of the not so noticeable differences. So hopefully you guys enjoy. So first and foremost, I just want to say this is an absolute beautiful bike by Colnago. It's the new color. It's like a matte black with kind of this brushed silver logo with the Colnago logo right there. You have their Colnago symbol right here in this brushed silver. You have the V4S, but this thing kind of changes from a matte black to kind of a gunmetal sparkle gray, which kind of goes around. And then you have their team colors, like I said, for Team UAE, which is this is going to be the colors that they're going to be riding in the Tour de France, with a nice little red accent piece and the Colnago logo there. But it's an absolute beautiful bike. Their specs are going to be different for the Tour de France or their team bikes as well. They are now riding Shimano. They moved away from Campy. They're now riding Shimano group set Durace, and they're going to be riding NV wheel sets. But this one is spec'd to buy with SRAM red and also Fulcrum wheels, like I mentioned. And big shout out before we get into the video to Bike Science out here in Pompano Beach. If you guys are interested, this bike is in stock, and they also have it in another size as well. So I will put a link down to their store below, and you guys can reach out to them and get one in your hands. But it is available right now to buy. So what are the main differences of this bike compared to the V3RS to V4RS? So on this bike, it looks very, very similar to the V3RS aesthetically wise, but it did change its geometry. So they're not exactly the same geometry on here. Yes, it is windy in Florida like always whenever I do these videos, but we're gonna get through it. They made the top tube longer on here. They changed the head tube by a little bit of a degree, and they did some differences on the bike. And also, this is the new change. They actually updated the carbon fiber bar and stem on this cockpit. Now they have their own Colnago integrated brand, which is a full one-piece carbon fiber bar and stem, like I said, the CC01, to make it more aerodynamic. Yes, there is a change in the frame weight as well. I believe this is a little bit lighter by like 47 grams compared to the V3RS to the V4S, but it's very, very minimal and marginal differences. And there's always been the saying going around that their V series of the Colnago bikes are built for more racers and not the common consumer like me or you, or like an average person who can afford this bike. But these bikes are definitely built more towards a pro rider, whereas a C series, like their C68, their C64, are built more for the everyday rider like me and you as well. I'm gonna do like this just right now because of the wind. But they always, that's the ongoing joke, is that Colnago makes these bikes for the average racer, and so we want to keep that in mind. So with these differences, what this means: you have a longer top tube, you have a little bit more of a raked out front fork. What this feels to some people, and what other people have read when I've talked to them who have ridden this bike, they said that it feels a little bit more sluggish and not as twitchy at slower end speeds, which is, you know, some people might want to feel like a bike reacts whenever they put down power, whenever they're turning, they want to feel like it picks up pretty quickly. Again, we're traveling at different speeds and pros, whereas they want to make this bike as stable as possible when descending. They want to make this bike as stable as possible when going super fast speeds, and they want to make sure this bike felt confident when going for a tour or stage win. So that is some of the downside to it, what they said, with the longer top tube and also the more slacked out head tube on there as well. But it's very marginal and minimal differences. The average rider probably want to feel as well, but they did it all for the feel of the absolute best outcome in terms of performing at top end speeds. But besides that, like I said, very, very similar looks, same integrated wedge. They did also make this different on the V3RS before. It used to be the half moon fork. Now this is a full cylinder steer, full circle cylinder steer. They also widened the head tube as well to make it stiffer. But yeah, they said that this bike is 50 watts, no, not 50 watts faster. It was 47 grams lighter, and then also a little bit faster in terms of stiffness as well. Like every single bike, they're not going to make a difference in a bike if they're not going to change some stiffness capabilities of it. But that's without further ado. Let's go through the whole bike and talk about what this bike comes spec with for the price of the bike. So starting off with the cockpit on here, you're getting the full integrated bar and stem combination by Colnago, the CC01. This thing has the cables run through the handlebar, down through the stem, and then into the spacer right here. These are breakaway spacers as well, so that way you can lower the stem if needed to. And I do like what Colnago does here. These are very attention to details, but these frames are very, very expensive. Like any brand's frames out there are super expensive, like Specialized, like Trek. But they go ahead and go the extra mile by giving you a ceramic speed headset. Is it necessary? No. But you got to figure you're paying this kind of money for a bike. You want to have all the bits and pieces be as top-notch as possible, and you want to feel like you're getting everything you can out of your money, which is great. You have a nice little V4RS logo right here. Underneath this top head tube cap, there is no bolt, as you guys can see. The steer plug on here just kind of expands inside the fork, so this actually is able to be utilized as a spare riding tool. If you pop open this cap here, you'll have a 4mm, a 5mm, or 6mm. All the tools you need to go ahead and adjust your bike on the fly. If you get a flat, you can remove your through axle. Just some bits and pieces that you're able to work with on the bike, which is nice. It does come with their own Colnago handlebar tape here with bits and pieces of Colnago right there. For the group set on the bike, it is a SRAM Red Axis 12-speed, 12 gears in the rear, 2 in the front. Again, some people are probably saying, hey, on a Colnago you should have Campy, or now that's Durace, but it still looks phenomenal. I think the bits and pieces of the silver match the Colnago logo very nice. And the front here, we do have the Colnago logo in a brushed silver, which looks very, very clean. You see here you have the updated Colnago bar and stem right here. For the max tire clearance as well, you can fit up to a 700 by 32C on here. You're seeing more and more road bikes go with this wider tire that you're able to go ahead and fit it on here to have a more comfortable ride, because they're figuring out now that riders are getting fatigued on the bike, so they want to make sure that the rider is fresh as possible and give these riders a choice of riding whatever tire they want here. For the wheels, it is going to be looks nice at bike. The wheels on here are a full Fulcrum carbon fiber road race wheel. They do have their own Fulcrum hub and then their own spokes in here as well. I don't know the exact model of this wheel, but we can go ahead and figure out. It does come with their own tubes inside there. The wheels are tubeless ready if you wanted to, but these are a clinched version, so you can change them out. For the tires on here, you have a Pirelli P0 Race. This is a 700 by 28C tire in here. Again, you're seeing more and more bikes come with these wider tires to go ahead and make sure that the rider is not fatigued while riding. I do love the paint job on here. It looks fast yet classic, not in your face. The team colors on anything is just for enthusiasts for sure. I think it's a really cool look. For the rotors on here, it's a 160mm rotor in the front with the SRAM Red disc brake caliper right there. One thing I'll say about Fulcrum wheels, I hate their braking situation they have here with their center lock. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a big fan of it at all. For some reason, it's like not compliant with, I don't know. It's just my personal preference. You do have the through axle right here. You do have the Colnago logo going down the middle, and here you can see where that paint match goes with the matte black here to kind of that gray color, the gunmetal, like I said before. For the bottom bracket, it is their T47 bottom bracket, which we're seeing more and more companies go with. It is a T47 specific tool. It is a threaded bottom bracket, but that bottom bracket is right up against the frame, similar to like an old school BB30. Whereas the old BS, or as the BSA bottom brackets, they have a little bit more out for the frame, but it is different on there. It is a carbon fiber crank. These are a 172.5 carbon fiber crank. And then on the chainrings here, you got a 4835 chainring. You guys will notice there is no power meter on here. So this model does not come with a power meter, so it should be a little bit cheaper for you as well. We do have 2 water bottle cages here. One goes right here, one goes right here, and it kind of tucks in a little bit better with the frame, so it can make it a little more aerodynamic. This, I believe, was to be for their NFT they had for the Colnago logos. It kind of got released with the C68 when it first got released, when kind of NFTs were still a big thing. I don't know how this is doing for them. I don't know if this is still NFT, if you can register your bike with it, but I don't know. It's kind of more of like a niche gimmick thing. For the group set, you have a SRAM Red front derailleur with a SRAM Red flat top chainring, and then a SRAM Red cassette, 1033 cassette, and then a SRAM Red rear derailleur as well. With the rear wheel, it's the exact same as the front. It is a Fulcrum Racing wheel, full carbon fiber with their own Fulcrum Racing hub, and on the same tire, the Pirelli P0 Race 700 by 28C tire. They do have here the lower seat stays with the Team UAE flag, and then you have the Colnago integrated seat post mast right here with their own Colnago logo. And then, like I said, that seat post is just a thing of work, a work of art. It's very, very minimal, minute details, but that red, that Team Red, with just a classic Colnago writing on it, looks very, very beautiful. The rotor in the rear is a 140mm rotor, and then the saddle is a Sella Italia SLR Superflow saddle, full carbon fiber rails, carbon fiber body, super wide cutout for a lot of support, and it just looks super, super light. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. Like I said, big shout out to Bike Science for letting me do a video on this bike. They do have it in stock if interested. If you guys have any questions on this bike, feel free to ask me down below, and I'll answer them as quick as I can. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, guys, here comes the free body sound test right now on the Fulcrum wheels. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.